too.
All right, then let's get started. So, hello, everyone. On behalf of our Temple leadership, I want to welcome you to our first town hall meeting of 2023. It's always great to see so many familiar faces on our screens, and Rabbi Baisley and I look forward to sharing the latest updates on what's happening at Anshe AEMT. I first want to start with a heartfelt welcome to our new assistant rabbi, Sienna Lotenberg. Rabbi Lotenberg has been serving as our rabbinic intern for the past 2 years and will officially become assistant rabbi at Anshe AEMT on July 1st. She will be ordained from the rabbinical program at Hebrew Union College, Jewish Institute of Religion on May 7th, and we will have an official installation ceremony honoring her as our new assistant rabbi in the fall. We extend a special invitation to you all to join us for Shabbat services on May 12th, Friday, May 12th, when she will deliver her first sermon to us as Rabbi Sienna Lotenberg. So Rabbi Lotenberg, are you on? I can't tell from my screen, but if you are, would you like to say a few words?
First of all, I want to say hello, and I want to.
Hi.
I am here. I am here. So
Good.
first of all, I want to tell you that I'm here. And secondly, I just want to say how overjoyed and how grateful I am to be staying. I've been really so floored by the kindness and dedication and generosity of spirit of this community for the past year and a half or so. And I couldn't be luckier. I couldn't be luckier. So I'm just delighted now. And I'm so excited to get to see you all more often.
Great. Well, we feel the same way. So thank you for joining us and thank you for being with us tonight. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to,
Ina, I just want to pop in for a second because
sure.
Sienna is not going to say this, but I'm going to say this on Rabbi Lotenberg's behalf. Is
Good.
She is still a student until she is ordained in May. And I know we're all really excited to get her involved and be on committees and come to this and come to that. But we're going to still respect the fact that she's a student and has homework to do until that time, because we want to make sure she gets ordained so she can be our assistant rabbi. So I know we're all really excited and want her to jump in right now, but we're going to wait till July 1st for the real tempest to begin. Let's put it that way.
Great. That's right. And good luck. Good luck, Rabbi Lotenberg. You're gonna do just great. Thank you. Okay, so I want to jump to the next topic, and that is talking to you about the GON, our GON Yeladim Learning Center, our daycare and preschool. The GON was established at Anshe AEMT over 30 years ago, and the goals of establishing the GON were to care for and educate young children inside the lens of a Jewish curriculum, also to be a pipeline for families to become members of Anshe AEMT, and of course, to be a source of revenue for the temple. So over the years, the GON has provided a safe and nurturing environment for children to learn and grow, and we are grateful for all the families who have entrusted their children in our care. Like most businesses, the GON has had years of booming success as well as disappointing periods. Unfortunately, we've had a string of those disappointing periods. So after much deliberation and analysis, the Board of Trustees has decided to close down the GON, effective March 30th. The GON has been an integral part of our community. Many of you have sent your children through the program, including Rabbi Baisley, and it has been a painful decision to make. However, as much as we wanted to continue providing the best possible care and education for our young children, we've come to the realization that it is no longer feasible. It's not an easy decision, but it is the right one for Anshe AEMT and our community. The GON has been facing stiff competition from large corporate daycares, many of which offer extended hours and more facilities to parents. But more significantly, the advent of free public preschool has led to a further decline in GON enrollment and has made a big financial dent with us as we maintain the mandatory teacher to student ratio. Despite the best efforts of our dedicated staff and faculty, we believe that closing the GON is the best decision for us at this time, as we are no longer meeting the goals that we set out to achieve when we started this journey. We're grateful to the parents and members who have supported us throughout the years. We're especially thankful to congregants, Cindy Terabush, a highly respected early childhood consultant and author, for her advice, guidance, and expertise relating to the GON during the past couple of years. And to David Groland Jacobs for stepping up and filling in as acting director when former director Melissa Riley Greco unexpectedly resigned in December. I also want to thank all the committee members for their unwavering dedication and efforts to keep the GON going for as long as possible. Please be assured that although the GON is closing, we are confident in the knowledge that Auntie Emma will continue to serve our community in other ways. Comments, questions? Anyone? I don't see any hands or comments.
If you're asking a question and we're not responding to it, it might be because you're muted. Oh,
Yeah.
David Falk, by
Yeah.
all means.
Yeah,
Thank you. What's the long-term outlook for the charter school? Will that continue to be someone to contribute, or a group that can continue with the revenue stream for how long?
Yeah, so
Yes.
would you like me to take that, Ina?
Yeah, as I say, we're going to address that next, Rabbi. So if you'd like to jump into that, you could go right ahead.
And I promise David was not a skillful plant to help get us to the next topic.
Well, the small kids, now we're going to talk about big kids, right?
Right, right.
The GON and the charter school are two very different conversations, even though they might seem to be interlinked. There have been years, and just to kind of flush out the GON thing, just to reiterate, there have been years where we've had small numbers in the GON. It's been fine because they've really been in the 3-4 preschool classroom, which requires a 12-to-1 student ratio. However, that's the age range that's been gone. So the GON has been losing money since New Jersey passed the free preschool, public preschool program, which is why it's not one of these things like in previous years where there've been 18 kids or 16 kids where we've stuck through it, because we knew they'd come up the system and end up eventually in the 3-4-year-old classroom. This is one of those moments where they're not going to end up in the 3-4-year-old classroom, and there wasn't much hope in terms of getting kids to come in for that. However, because we aren't needing the same amount of classrooms reserved for the GON, it means that we're able to open up a couple more classrooms for the charter school. Dr. Surgeon, who's the CEO of the New Jersey Charter School, and I have been chatting. We are still fleshing out what rooms do we need. We do want to save some classrooms in the preschool hallway so that our religious school preschool can use it, that we can still do preschool programming for high holidays, that we can still bring in Parent and Me programs and stuff like that, and still use that space and still engage with Jewish unaffiliated preschool families. So we're not getting rid of the space entirely, but by opening up a few more classrooms, as Dr. Surgeon had told me, with 99%, and this is what he, direct quote from him, with almost absolute certainty, the charter school could make this their home for the foreseeable future, and also increase how much money we'd be getting from them, because not just of rent increases, but also space increases. And we'd also be able to do things like give the choir back their music room for choir rehearsal and music practice and guitar class and stuff like that, because there are other rooms that we can give them. So we are sad that the charter school is closed. The GON is closing. I would love to have kept it open. However, there are more opportunities here. And I also want to use this time to think creatively about what other outreach programs we can bring in now that we have that space and now that we have that utility. So the charter school is staying. They're going to increase their footprint in ways that you all won't notice unless you're here from, like, during the school day in the middle of the week. But the choir is getting back their space and getting the piano in, and we're still going to be able to have that financial security and be able to utilize the space better at the same time. So it's kind of a win-win, but kind of a sad win-win at it. Joy.
I thought that the charter school was building their own building.
They were going to have to in order to fulfill the mandate of their charter. But because we have a couple more classrooms to give them, they're able to fulfill their mandate of their charter in terms of numbers and not have to build a new school, which they'd like to avoid doing if possible. So they aren't planning on building a new school. They didn't find a good location that they like. Through a coincidence of many factors, they would rather just stay here. And they love the working relationship that we have.
Good.
So, yeah.
That sounds good. Okay.
Other questions? Okay.
Rabbi, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk to us about Israel.
So, Israel.
Hmm.
There's really nothing happening in Israel right now that's of any note. If you haven't seen the sermon from last Friday night, I would encourage you to do so. It's about what's happening in Israel, both with political reform, but also what happened in the settlements over the last week. And what's being said in terms of non-Orthodox religious Jews. As some of you may know, I actually believe that there does need to be a judicial reform in Israel because there is no constitution, there's no checks and balances, and there really needs to be some sort of guiding document like we have in America. However, the judicial reform that's being instituted and some of the legislative reforms that are being instituted would, for example, this is what Smotrich had suggested the other day and wants to put up, is that any conversion retroactively from here on forth and retroactively that's done by a Reform conservative or Reconstructionist rabbi doesn't count as being a Jew for the right of return or in terms of any sort of, I can see Debbie Cohen just screaming at the computer monitor right now, and I'm so glad she's muted. There are many different things. So the type of legislative reform that I'm looking for is not this. I had said at the end of the sermon that now is the time when we need to be more engaged with Israel than ever before, and that we need to get involved with supporting institutions in Israel, reform institution Israels that are fighting on our behalf to help protect the rights of non-Orthodox Jews in Israel. In the April bulletin, you will see in my Between Us a couple of those organizations that you can get involved with. So if you're looking for good leads, that's where you can find them. In particular, I mentioned the Israeli Movement for Progressive Judaism. That's the Israeli version of the URJ, the Union for Reform Judaism. And I mentioned the Israel Religious Action Center, which is up till date been the main organization that has been pushing for a women's right to sit anywhere on a bus in Israel, and a couple of other factors in there. Again, I don't see this as a left versus right sort of thing. I see this as how do we protect the moral integrity of Israel, and making sure that every Jew, no matter what denomination, has the ability to call Israel a home. Anyway, that's in the sermon, and that's in the Between Us for April, which I believe Anne is going to be photocopying tomorrow, or if she hasn't already started. There are still things that we are doing for the remainder of the year where we are celebrating Israel, because we aren't throwing up our hands and saying what we're seeing in Israel with the protests or with the settlements means that we want to wash our hands of Israel. Quite the contrary. We want to be able to still celebrate and show our love for Israel, because we want to encourage Israel to be the vision of Israel we see as being both Jewish and democratic. So there are a couple events coming up to do so. The first is an almost Lag BaOmer picnic. MAP class is organizing that with Sarah Levine and David Levine as co-chairs, or they're calling them advisory group. They're co-chairs. So they're all part of that, and it's going to be great. It's going to be the afternoon of May 7th in, I believe Donaldson Park, or is it Johnson Park? You know, I've lived in Highland Park 11 years. You think I'd remember the difference between the two, but it's that afternoon at about 4 o'clock. So you can come for dinner, bring kids, don't bring kids. There'll be lots to do. That'll be a lot of fun. The first Sunday of June is the Israel Day Parade in New York. I think it'd be great if we all showed up saying we are Reformed Jews and we're for Israel and we're for this vision of Israel, so that not only one view of Israel is a monopoly in the parade. I think it's really important that we as Reformed Jews show up for this. I've been hearing from Federation in the Heart of New Jersey that they're getting buses lined up to take people to the city as a contingency. I have not heard anything from ARTSA yet. I don't know if anybody has heard anything from ARTSA yet on the parade. My guess is we're probably going to be going with Federation rather than ARTSA if ARTSA is not doing something. And there's still time to sign up for the trip to Israel. We have about 60 people going, 2 buses. The first timers bus is almost full. There's still a few seats left in the returners bus. So if you are still on the fence about whether or not you should go to Israel, you should go to Israel, because now is the time more than ever that our allies in Israel need to see us show up and give them strength for the work that they're doing on our behalf. And while we are there, we will have conversations about what is the Israel that we love and what does it look like, and to also be a part of why we fell in love with Israel in the first place. So it's going to be a great trip in November. I encourage everyone to come. There's still space and there's still time to sign up. As I see, my camera has suddenly decided to make me blurry. Am I missing anything, Ina, in terms of Israel?
That's it, unless anybody else has anything to add about that, but those are wonderful things coming up, and especially the trip.
Yeah, and for our Log Bomer picnic, I believe our oil company is providing oil for us for tastings and for enjoying for the barbecue. They're very excited about it. You can order oil at any time, so you can still click the link and order for next year. I think it might be a little late to order Passover wine or to get wine by Passover, but for next year, but you can order oil at any time. And if you oil, I think 3 bottles, 3 bottles or more, you get your family name on the bottle, which is kind of cool. Nice gift too. I won't plug Hanukkah gifts yet. It's too soon. That's it with Israel. In terms of other trips on the horizon, I have been, and David Levine's flashing his oil bottle, which is good. Great, Israel. Was there anything else, Ina, that you want me to do?
No, I think that's it.
Nope, my monitor's back. All of a sudden, you all disappeared.
Okay, thank you, Rabbi. I would like to also remind people about some upcoming fundraisers, because that's our thing. And one really great thing is that our rummage sale is back. After several years of not being able to have our rummage sale due to the COVID pandemic, the rummage sale will return to AEMT this summer. Thanks to the leadership of Debbie Cohen and her team, the rummage sale has been reimagined this year, and mainly due to kind of tight time constraints. So only clothing and accessories will be collected, so that we can think of it as a clothing sale rather than a traditional rummage sale. The slogan that Debbie and her team came up with is, if you can't wear it, we don't want it. So think in terms of along those terms, and hopefully people will have a lot to donate. Drop-off clothing will begin in early July, with the last day to drop off, I think, is going to be July 28th. The sale will take place on August 6th, 13th, and 14th. And the only way for this to be successful, which it usually always is, but really to make it work, we need help with donations. And of course, the big one is volunteers. We need volunteers. So please answer Debbie's request for help when needed. Any amount of time you can spare is appreciated. So I hope that you will all participate in this year's clothing sale. We also have a 50-50 raffle. The 50-50 raffle tickets are on sale. It's a great way to support the temple. It's a way where you have a chance to win money at the same time supporting the temple. Besides buying tickets for yourself, for your family and friends, you can also sell tickets. If you need additional tickets, just call the temple office. The drawing will be held on May 2nd at 7:30 at the congregational meeting. Thanks to Jay Goldberg for once again chairing and coordinating the raffle. Another one coming up is the Temple's 36th annual golf outing on May 15th at Battleground Country Club in Manalapan. It's one of our biggest fundraisers. Whether you play golf or not, you can participate in this year's golf outing. You can attend and play, you can sponsor a hole, you could solicit your friends, neighbors, suppliers, local merchants, business associates to sponsor a hole. You could donate a raffle prize, auction prize, or even individual goodie bag items. Or you could join us for dinner. Non-golfers are always welcome. Or you could make a donation of any amount. So I hope you could do that. I want to thank Stu Levine for chairing the event once again. And if you need any more information about that, please contact Stu or call the office.
And what Ina's not saying is she's the one being honored at the golf outing. So
Yeah, that's
go
like
up for the dinner so that we can thank her for 2 years of service. I know you
thanks.
tried to get that one by without it being mentioned.
Thanks, Rabbi. But yeah. Okay. So up a couple of upcoming program notes. We will be honoring 2 special people for their years of service at Aunt Jameth with 2 special onegs coming up in the next few months. The first one will be on April 21st, when following the Himelsky program Shabbat service, we will be honoring piano Dave Schlossberg at the oneg after the service. And then on June 23rd, please join us for a Shabbat service followed by a special oneg honoring Heather Kibble, as she concludes her 15 years of dedicated service at Aunt Jameth. Both Dave and Heather have been an integral part of our community, and as they each move on to new endeavors, I'm sure you'll want an opportunity to thank them and wish them well. So please join us for those 2 times. This coming Sunday, March 19th, I hope you will join us for the congregational breakfast and blood drive. The Aunt Jameth blood drive starts at 8:30 a.m. on Sunday. I hope you know by donating blood, you can help save a life. 1 in 3 people will need blood sometime during their life. So please call and reserve a spot. Also, the congregational breakfast will start at 9:30 and is prepared by Master Chef Dr. Joe Cohen and the team B'tei Avon. Spend the morning with a fellow Temple members, relaxing and schmoozing and enjoying all you can eat home cooked breakfast. Any questions about anything going on at the temple? Because that's about what we have going on right now. Any questions, comments, anything that anybody would like to share? Speak up if I can't see your screen.
And again, I want to make a special thank you to David GJ. Melissa had to step down for medical reasons, and he stepped up in a heartbeat and has been dealing with the painful process of this and the heart and the emotionality of closing down the GON. And you know, our thanks can't be strong enough for him for stepping in like that and doing that for us. So a big thank you to David. He's got another meeting right now at his other synagogue, so he's not able to join us. But
Okay.
When you see him, make sure you thank him. Bert.
Yeah, I just want to know, every summer the temple has had summer barbecues. Are we going to be doing that in July and August this year?
Absolutely.
The timing may be a little different due to the clothing sale that we're having, but yes, we will be having those. The dates will work around that clothing sale.
And we might even be able to do it indoors or up on the roof and not have to do it out in the parking lot this year too.
Yeah, the roof was very, I enjoyed it up on the roof. It was very comfortable and it was a nice breeze there in the summertime at night.
Yeah. Anyone else? Rabbi, anything else to share? We're good.
You got me. I think we laid it all out.
Hopefully. Well, I want to take a minute to wish everyone a happy spring, happy Passover as we all get ready for the holiday. And again, we hope to see you on Sunday at the congregational breakfast. It'll be a great time and a way to connect with everybody again. So, and also have a wonderful meal.
One other thing is show up for Education Shabbat, where we will thank our interns for the last 2 years of work that they've done, primarily thanking it, Ezra, because Santa's sticking around, as mentioned before, but Education Shabbatsman, we're going to be thanking Rabbi Leventhal for the work he's been doing.
All righty. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And as I said, hope to see you on Sunday. And thank you for joining us.
He wrote.